Welcome to BizzyWebinar. This is Dave Meyer along with Kevin Broadbent of BizzyWeb talking about online advertising, Google AdWords 101. Kevin is our online marketing specialist and has been doing a fantastic job for all of our clients. So Kevin, I'm delighted to have you with us. Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dave.
Absolutely, and we'll be able to see each other in a little while here, but just as we move through, we have a couple of things that we normally do. We talk through our agenda. And so if you could go up there, yeah, we'll talk a little bit about us, and then we're going to go into online advertising. We'll let Kevin handle the AdWords basics, including setup, copy, preview, and the keyword planner tool. And then we'll set aside the last half hour or so for the BizzyWebinar Q&A session. So what that is you'll be able to either ask questions during the event using the Q&A tool, and I'll demo how to get into that in just a moment, or you can join us live on the Hangout by clicking on the link in the event for the day. So for folks that are watching, and we have a few on already, let me screen share over to what that looks like. And what you need to do is simply from the BizzyWeb homepage, of course, if you scroll down to the BizzyWebinar Online Advertising 101 post, you'll note inside of here, and I need to refresh this actually, you'll see that on this page there's an embedded video, and then right here it says Google Plus page or the Google Hangout. So if you go to the Google Plus page, you'll be able to watch live, or if you click on this play button here, you'll be able to watch live, and there's a Q&A button that'll show up inside of here. You'll need to be connected to everyone, or you'll need to be logged in on Google Plus in order to get access to asking the Q&A, or at least be using an authorized Google ID. And so when you do that, what it'll look like is this. You'll be able to see this, and there's this little Q&A button on here. And then once you get into the actual Hangout itself, it looks like this, where it'll say, be the first to ask a question. Now, if other folks have asked questions, you can just click the green Ask a New Question button. Kevin and I will be online and taking your questions during this event. So this is your chance to know everything you'd possibly want to know about Google AdWords, or at least on getting started in Google AdWords. And the more you ask, the more help it's going to be to you. So be sure to log into that, please. Let's get into a little bit about us. So Kevin, if you could advance one slide. We're an online marketing company that focuses on WordPress-powered web design. So when you build a website with BizzyWeb, we build it so that it seamlessly integrates with social media and is optimized for both search engine optimization and all aspects of online marketing, including email marketing. So if you need to push content out to your followers or your clients, or if you need to get a permission-based marketing stream set up for yourself, we should talk about our Buzz Builders program. And so we'll talk about that a little bit after Kevin has a chance to talk about his show. What that can look like, and next slide please, is social media setups, including LinkedIn, Facebook, Google+, and Twitter. And if you set all these up correctly, and if you set them to activate and link with your website, all of those accounts will help you to grow and generate more business for yourself and better results in search engines. I won't go into more detail here because we're going to talk about how to boost your content and your connections with online advertising. So without further ado, I'll drop it over to Kevin. Kevin, thanks very much.
Well, thank you, Dave, and thank you everyone for joining us today. My focus today is going to be on Google AdWords and really how we can help somebody get set up with a new Google AdWords account and a campaign, and building that campaign out successfully. The approach here is really focused on somebody who's new to Google AdWords, somebody that maybe has dabbled in it or is just really, been frustrated with how the the process has gone, and they would like a little guidance on how to set that up correctly and how to optimize it and maximize some of your spend. We will scratch the surface on Google AdWords. There's certainly a lot more detail that we could go into at the next level, but this is really focused on helping you as a small business owner or a business owner get set up and started and feel confident about building your AdWords campaigns with our guidance. And we're going to focus a lot on just some of I have a lot of screen shares that I'll that are included in this deck that I'll walk through with you, and I'll talk to a lot of those details. I won't go through any live demos per se, but I've tried to capture as many of those, key screenshots in terms of the setup pages, the AdWord copy, the keyword planning tool, and a lot of like I said, the key things that I think you need to build a successful Google AdWords campaign and ad groups and relevant keywords that are focused on your niche. So, like I said, the first step will be really just getting you familiar with some of the terms. I know there's a lot of industry speak when it comes to Google AdWords and the terms that we use. So, just at a very basic level, what is Google AdWords? So we describe it as a powerful online advertising platform that drives consistent, reliable traffic to your website, producing increase in sales and return on your investment. It's a targeting tool that focuses on trying to find consumers and customers who are actively searching for products or services that you might be selling on your website or from your business. So you hear PPC advertising, that's pay-per-click advertising. What that means, this is a Google AdWords program, you only pay when someone clicks on your ad and lands on your website. So you set up these campaigns, and if nobody clicks on those ads, you don't get charged for those ads. You hear a lot about keywords and what exactly are keywords. How many do I have to have? What are the details behind keywords? They're really just words or phrases that are relevant or related to your products or services. These are the words you think people will search for online in order to find your business. Now, some of those, the trick is some of those keywords that people are looking for online might not be exactly what you think people are looking for when they're maybe if you have a physical retail store, or if you've talked to customers. The way people search for you online is sometimes different than walk-in traffic at a brick and mortar store. Keywords in general, keywords should be 2 to 3 words long. We don't try to focus on single keywords. We're really looking for keywords or phrases that people will be going to Google in this case, and focusing on. The best ones are, and this is the trick. The best ones are the ones that have that balance. You want to balance between ones that are not too general and ones that are not too specific. And we'll go through a couple examples to help you understand how we can help you refine those keywords, because it is an art. It is something that takes some practice and takes a little patience in terms of understanding what works, reading the results, and understanding what is actually going to be the optimal keyword that drives traffic in an efficient, cost-effective way to your website. So Google AdWords, and just in case somebody doesn't know where these paid ads show up, I've highlighted where you see them. So sometimes if you aren't looking closely, it's not always easy to see exactly what the paid ads are and what we call organic search results are. You cannot influence the search results organically on this page. That's a different topic for search engine optimization. But where I've highlighted on the upper left side and on the bottom right side, in the middle as well, we call those paid ads. And that's when we talk about Google AdWords, just so everybody understands, these are the ads that we're trying to influence and we're trying to create today and set those up so we can influence our customers, the users that are out there, prospective customers that are looking for your products and services. We're going to create ads that we can put into these slots where we have paid ads to get more clicks and drive conversions to your website for your business. So one of the first things we do, and just to back up, I didn't go over the details on setting up an account. High level, what you needed a Google account. So if you go to google.com, you can set up a Gmail account, and I'm assuming a lot of people already have that. So I didn't go into detail on that piece, but essentially, when you go to Google AdWords, you set up a new campaign, and this is the first step that you do is you have to create what we call an ad group. And it gives you some nice, what I have in this screenshot here is a really nice just intro page where you can enter, I'm using REI as an example for just demonstration purposes today, but I'm focusing on men's jackets here. So REI has a nice landing page that's all about men's jackets, and you can enter, you can call, you give it an ad group name, you'll see you can get keyword ideas grouped into a theme. So I entered men's men's jackets and put the men's jackets landing page on there, and it gives me some suggestions that that I can maybe use just to kind of get my my creative juices flowing in terms of keywords. Also, if you see right above there's a button on the very bottom left corner that says continue to ads. Above that, you'll see there's a keyword section where you enter some of the keywords that you're looking for. So what I did, and this is what I recommend to everybody starting out new to creating ad groups, look at your competition. Look at what what they're doing. If they're using Google AdWords, look at the keywords that are driving traffic. I mentioned on the left side and on the upper portion, you can see where those ads are showing. Look at what they're doing. Understand how how they're driving people through paid advertisements in Google to their website, and use that as kind of a baseline to help you understand where they're at in terms of their paid advertising campaigns. Leverage some of their keywords and headlines that we'll get into more. Some of those elements are important, and they're already doing some of this. So if you haven't dabbled into this, look at the competition, Google Google some of the keywords, in this case men's winter jackets, and see what comes up. You look at REI and they have a nice landing page that is focused on this. So use that as ideas. This keyword tool is just, once again, we're just trying to get a baseline started so we can build an ad group and get it set up and live on Google AdWords. So once you have your general keyword set up, you create an actual ad. So where it says, you'll see the plus sign in the middle there, you create an ad, and what it'll give you is a pop-up window here. And here's the pop-up window. You enter your destination URL. So what you want to have is a very targeted landing page on your website that is focused on your topic. So if you send them to your home page, it might not be the ideal scenario. It depends on your website, your products and services that you're selling, but you really want to have, like in my example, men's jackets. REI has a dedicated department online in their navigation, in their site hierarchy, that is focused just on men's jackets. So in this case, I'm writing my ad. It gives me 4 lines there. Number 1 is the headline, and you really want to make sure that the headline is focused on the keywords that you've identified. So in this case, I'm saying men's winter jacket, the URL that I've entered in line 2, and once again, the headline is important. The second line is the benefit. You really want the second line to be focused on driving the benefit. So in this case, I said keep warm and save on all name brand men's winter jackets, 20% off today. So I extended it, the first line into the second line, which is fine, but I'm really focusing on driving the benefit right away, so there's no ambiguity. You want to make sure that your customers that are going online looking for men's winter jackets can see that keyword in the headline and see what the benefit is to them. In this case, keep warm and save on all name brands for men's jackets. And then the second line is really focused on the features. In this case, the feature we're saying, it's the benefit, or the benefit is keep warm. The feature is really saving money today. So if you want to save 20%, this is attention really focused that on the features line, or the second line of text. It's something that you can you can play around with, and there's definitely an art to doing this, and you'll see quickly that you run out of space based on the number of characters. And I'll explain the number of characters that you're allowed to have and some of the tips and tricks for writing these ads in the next couple slides here. So the next step in creating your first ad group is just reviewing it. So Google AdWords gives you a nice preview, as you can see there in the middle. It gives you a preview of the ad groups. You can see this is what it's going to look like if and when I publish this live. This is what it looks like in a Google AdWords format. So you can see it's men's winter jacket sale. I got the URL next to it at rei.com, and the men's jackets, and keep warm and save on all name brand men's winter jacket, save 20% off today. It's a nice tool, preview tool to give you a glimpse of what it's going to look like and how that's going to render in terms of the actual ad on the site. The other piece here that I want to touch on is the bid and budget feature. As you can see, I put in $50 as a daily budget. This is just for example purposes, but you can put in any daily budget that you want. And I have a keyword planning tool section in this presentation that I'll go over that will really help you understand what kinds of return you can get on your budget or your investment on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. So it's a nice tool to help you kind of guesstimate what you can expect in terms of your spend and your return on investment based on clicks and the click-through rates. The other setting that you can adjust here or that you can see is I have the campaign set generally here for Minneapolis-St. Paul area. There's a number of ways you can refine that and make it more flexible, more geo-targeted. There's some nice tools that Google AdWords provides to help you zero in if you really want to be, if you're a local shop in, let's say, Minneapolis, you can make it specific to Minneapolis. You can hone that into a Hennepin County if you want to do that at a county level. You can also exclude cities within that area, Minneapolis, St. Paul. So there's a number of ways you can really make this targeted and specific at a geolocation level, which is a nice feature if you have a single shop that or a retail store that you're focused on, and you want to drive traffic just within a certain radius or area of your business. So going into a little more detail on the headline. The headline of your ad is something that carries the most weight in terms of the overall ad importance. This is something that needs to be attention grabbing. It needs to be, something that isn't outrageous, but something that is really focused on getting a searcher to notice your ad. Once again, your ad's going to be competing with other ads that are vying for the same business. So this is something that you want to have prominent and focused on a relevant searcher who's on Google looking for these types of products or services that you're offering. You want to make sure the headline really catches their attention, and once as I say in the second point, this is the first thing they're going to see when they pull up their search results. When they look at the search engine results page, this is the biggest influencing factor that users are going to use to determine whether or not your ad is relevant and targeted. And, they don't spend a lot of time browsing through all these. If they see something that catches their eye and it's focused on what their search query brought back in terms of results, that's how you generate, targeted, focused, customers or prospective customers that are going to click on your ads and hopefully generate more business for you. One thing to note is the character count. As I mentioned, it is limiting in terms of what you can squeeze into that little ad. You have 25 characters or less to fit into that headline. So choose your words wisely. Sometimes I'll start out writing examples. I'll open up Microsoft Word and I'll write examples in there, and they're much longer, and then I'll refine them to really fit into that space. But it's it's definitely an art that you have to work through to get something that's impactful, targeted, and relevant in 25 characters or less. And the other key for a headline is based on the keywords that you're using and trying to drive people to your site. You want to make sure that your main keywords are included in your site. So once again, my keyword before was men's winter coats, men's winter jackets. You want to make sure that's in your headline. So when Google's looking at this in terms of relevancy and where it should rank amongst all of the other ads that are out there, it sees a connection between what people are entering into their search query in Google and what's showing up in the headline. And then another good idea that we recommend is capitalizing each word. Don't make every word all caps. It just helps it stand out if you capitalize each word in the headline. In a little more detail on the ad text itself. So this is, once again, the first line is your headline, and the second two lines are text lines, right? And so remember we talked about having the first line outside of below the headline as your as your benefit, and then the second line focused on your feature. Now you get 35 characters or less per line here, and then you also have 35 characters to just for your what we call our display URL. So the link that you put in there is 35. You can have 35 characters included in that as well. As I mentioned before, the benefits, you want to front load the benefits in that first line below the headline to make sure that it's impactful and it's got the the right connection to people that are searching for your types of services or products. The second line should really focus on the features and offers. So once again, my example with the jackets was save 20% today, save 20% now. The benefit was you can get a wide selection of name brand products and it'll keep you warm. So make sure that when you create these ads, make sure, as you would with offline marketing, make sure that your ads are targeted with your customers in mind. Think about what they're going to be searching for when they're on Google or other websites, other search engines. Think about what they're doing, and what will attract them. Know your customers, and try to understand what your customers are looking for. Make your ads precise and concise for what they're targeting, and that'll help drive more. It'll help you create more targeted traffic and actually help your budget overall because you're getting more targeted, relevant click-through rates and managing your spend wisely in terms of Google and the placement of your ads. So one of the nice features that Google AdWords offers is it's called the ad preview feature. It's what you can do is once you create your starting keyword list that we did a few slides ago, you can go and actually look at the keyword level. So if you see there's the tabs at the top, there's ad groups, there's settings, there's ads, there's keywords, ad extensions and dimensions. There's a lot of detail there. We aren't going to go out of those. So I'm really focused on getting our Google AdWords 101 keywords set up. As you can see, the keyword, you see the red keyword tab and the keywords that are followed below. I created an ad group called men's winter jackets, and if one of the nice things you can do here is if you see in the middle it says pending review and showing ads right now, it's highlighted in red or pink. It says no, and then it gives you a quality score. So quality score is it's complicated, but basically Google gives based on the ads that you created, the landing page that you've sent that you're going to send your prospective customers or customers to. It factors in a lot of those variables and determines if it's a relevant targeted ad that you've created for the keywords that you put in there, the copy that you've added, and so forth. So one thing you do not want to do is go as soon as you create your ads and make them active or live. Once they're approved by Google, Google has to approve all of the ads at a certain level before it can release them and make them available on their search network. One thing you can do is you do not want to go to google.com and look for your keywords and start and when you do that, that actually affects your click-through rates and your overall performance because it's creating an impression for your ad, but nobody's clicking on it, or if you do click on it, you're going to incur some costs on your side. So what Google has done in AdWords is it gives you this ad preview feature that allows you to see these ads and not get penalized, so to speak, for clicking on your ads in a normal Google.com search. Once again, your ads also might not be available in Google.com depending on, for example, if I'm in Rochester, Minnesota, and I create ads that are just focused on Minneapolis, Minnesota, from geographic area, those ads would not show up in my normal settings on Google because I'm in a different city, and they would display there. So you aren't always going to be able to even find those if you do try to search for them. There's other ways you can get at that, but ideally what you want to do is use the ad preview feature so you don't get penalized from a overall performance standpoint with your ads by using this tool. You can see the ads and how they rank within the other ads in a live environment, but you don't have to incur like I said, the so-called penalty or the implications of displaying and getting more impressions of your ad without clicking on those or actually clicking on the ad and having to pay for your own ads. One other thing on this screen, what you can do is where it says campaign paused, when you hover over that icon, you actually can, it takes you to this ad preview feature, which I'll show you on the next page, and it already pre-populates the keyword that you'll see, and all you have to do is click submit, and then it will analyze that keyword and give you a screenshot or a live view of it. So that's what this next page is. We call it the ad preview and diagnosis. It's once again, and when I hovered over that icon, you could see winter jackets for that keyword. And now on this screen, you click preview, and it actually down below. Now this ad is not live, so that's why it says no under showing ads right now. What this does is if it was live, you'd see actually where your ad ranks in Google down below, and it's a nice feature to see it, like I said, without having to deal with any implications for a normal Google.com search for these keywords. So leverage this tool to see how your keywords look after you create your first ads, because it is helpful to see, and it like I said, it's a nice feature to really look at individual keywords and where they rank with your competition when you set these up. Another way to get to this tool, if you don't hover over the where it says campaign pause under status, another way to get there is at the top navigation is under tools. You can see at the very bottom option under tools in that menu is ad preview and diagnosis. So the issue when you go there, it doesn't pre-populate the keywords for you. If you do it at the keyword level down below in the middle, then it actually shows you the keyword in there, and you just have to basically hit submit to run that result. So I mentioned at the beginning that there's a tool called Keyword Planner. So the Keyword Planner is a great tool that Google AdWords provides to you for free. It's just part of their toolkit. It's in the same location that we mentioned up here. If you see on this screen that under Tools, you can see Keyword Planner is the third option from the bottom. So that's the same location there under Tools. What Keyword Planner does is it gives you, because a lot of times when you're trying to be creative and find new keywords, or trying to find new ideas that you can search for and build campaigns around in Google AdWords, the keyword planning tool helps you identify some of those options, right? So in this example, I use men's winter jackets, and I put my REI example again in there for that landing page, and I put my product category as winter sports apparel. That's selected through a drop-down menu, so it gives you kind of pre-configured options there based on your product category if you're selling products. And another thing that's nice is you can add targeted keywords based on location, language, search engines, and you can actually do negative keywords. Negative keywords it's an option where, for example, I'm looking for men's winter jackets. I don't want women's or children's jackets to come up in search results, because then if I'm only selling men's winter jackets in this example, then I want to make sure that those other options, women's and children's jackets, are excluded from these searches. So you can add negative keywords as well to help refine your search and make your targeted campaigns better. So as you can see, there's a Get Ideas button here. So you put in your keywords, it comes back with a bunch of different ideas, and it gives you, in this example, it gives you a daily estimate of your keywords based on my variables that I put in there. So I have this geo targeted for several different cities and county in Hennepin County in Minnesota. I have that identified and focused on how many clicks I can get for my keyword in that area. So it gives you a kind of an estimate of what's available and what I can expect for my ad spend. It's going to cost me, once again, this is a daily estimate. If I want to get 3.7, basically 3 to 4.5 clicks, I can get almost 400 impressions a day, and it's going to cost me anywhere from $2.90 up to $3.60 for these ads. So it gives you a good idea on what it's going to cost to compete at that at that level for these ads if you want to have that in your results. So leverage this keyword planning tool. It's really nice that you can do some geo-targeted location work within there, and it'll give you a good idea before you actually put any of these campaigns live for these new keywords. So once again, here's just another chart that you can see within there for the ad groups. It gives you lots of different options for setting that up. And here is just another screenshot for, once again, the geolocation map. It actually gives you a map of where that is. You can see in this example, I've selected Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I've excluded St. Paul, Minnesota, and it highlights those in different colors. And just another view of the keyword planning tool that is available for, like in this example, it brings up a lot of different ad group options by relevance. For example, Columbia winter jackets, and et cetera, et cetera. You can see a lot of different group possibilities and the keywords within there, and you can leverage these to help build more targeted campaigns on your side. So in summary, getting started, really what I recommend is focusing on mastering the AdWord fundamentals. There's a lot of what I would call advanced options that you can work into in terms of targeting and how you manage your campaigns, the different types of groups you can set up. But what I'd recommend is build your targeted keywords and ad groups based on your learnings, and leverage the keyword planning tool that we've just walked through. It can really be a good idea generator. And look at your competition. Make sure that you understand what your competition is doing, and you can use some of their ideas. If you see them consistently on Google AdWords, use some of their ideas to help refine your campaigns. We don't want to steal their campaigns directly, but you certainly can leverage some of the learnings that they're using within their AdWord campaigns to help your campaigns be more successful. In terms of the ads, just keep in mind that you want to build strong calls to action. You want attention-grabbing headlines, and you want to really focus on those benefits and features. You don't have a lot of real estate here in terms of what you can say and do. There's no images in these examples, so you really want to make sure that you can fine-tune your ads and optimize your budget so you can improve your overall ad spend. You're looking for that return on your investment. You want to get people clicking on your sites through these ads as cost effectively as possible, and the more you fine-tune, the more targeted your sites are going to be in terms of click-throughs, and make sure that the user experience from your AdWord campaign to your landing page has some continuity. You don't want it to be a totally different landing page in terms of the subject matter when they are clicking on a link, expecting it to be something on, for example, men's winter coats, and it's something completely different than it's camping gear or something that they weren't expecting. So make sure that there's a consistent user experience all the way through from the Google AdWords campaigns into the landing pages to the last steps or the calls to action on your actual website. And then, in terms of budget, a lot of people ask, well, how much should I spend? What is a good starting point? What I usually recommend is, it's going to be variable in terms of your industry and the vertical that you're trying to target within Google AdWords. Some verticals are much more competitive and are going to require a bigger initial spend, especially if you're doing this solo or in-house. Start with a test budget and use the first couple weeks to look at the data, look at the results, to help refine your copy, and based on those initial findings, you can grow from there. There's certainly a lot more advanced techniques that you can implement, but you can still be competitive, and you can still get good value for your limited budget, or your starter budget in this case, if you start out with a solid foundation, master those fundamentals, help grow your campaign by touching your keywords, using the keyword planning tool, refining your ad copy. Look at the results. The metrics are easy, user-friendly to follow, and make sure that you understand and learn from those, because a lot of people they get these campaigns, and you can't just set an AdWords campaign up and leave it. You have to touch it and look at the results and give it some TLC, so to speak, and you can actually improve your cost per click and your overall budget efficiency. So use these tools to get started, and certainly BizzyWeb, we have a lot of experts in house to help you manage it at the next level. But certainly these tips, I think, will give you a good starting plan to help get started with AdWords and build a successful campaign. And that is it.
We do have a few questions, and you sort of answered one of the big questions that we got in through the sales box already, but there was a question, how can I set a reasonable budget for my ads, and what'll $500 a month get me, for example?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and it's a common question. I can tell you that it really is the adage that it varies by segment and by the vertical that you're going to compete in. For example, if you're an HVAC service provider in the Twin Cities metro area, that's a competitive landscape in terms of AdWords, and you're going to have to pay more per click for some of the big keywords like air conditioning and heating. But so I don't know if there's an exact number we can pinpoint. You want to do enough the keyword planning tool will basically identify how much the opportunities that you might be missing if you don't have the cost per click high enough. So you can set how many cents or dollars you want to spend on each click. You can also set a daily budget. So maybe starting out with a $10 budget and set your click cost per click at 50 cents. The key is the test. Start out at a comfortable level that you think is reasonable based on your budget allocation, and grow from there.
Right.
Certainly you want to be you want to be competing, so you're going to know if you aren't getting any clicks, you're probably going to have to increase your budget and ad spend.
Got it. Cool. The next question we had up was, again, kind of related to that, where they said, what does A/B testing mean, and how do you do that, and is there a way to set different times for your ads?
So yes, that's a great question. I highly recommend. I didn't go into detail at this level for the sake of this presentation, but certainly there is, and I recommend that we do A/B testing for your ads to really understand what's working. If you want to have an efficient spend for your budget, you really need just like a lot of people do offline. You want to make sure that you have a comparison, something that's your baseline in terms of an A/B test. You basically can set up a different ad group or a different campaign within your Google AdWords account, and monitor that and see what's driving the best clicks. I like to always go into my results page or my campaign dashboard and sort by different ad groups. I sort by the click-through rates, and that usually tells me what's driving business and where the opportunities are. If I'm not getting clicks, then if I have two similar ads, one's maybe a save 20%, another one's free shipping. You can look at those and see what really is driving customers to your site. Maybe it's a different trigger that you need to have in there, but certainly A/B testing is a great idea. I think that everybody should work towards. Like I said, starting out, I would recommend just going at a very basic level,
Sure.
reading those results and growing from there. Creating separate A/B testing is a good next step.
Right, and as a reminder for folks that don't know, A/B testing is literally the option of presenting two ads kind of at random, option A and option B, and measuring which one gets the best results.
And Dave, the second half of your question I didn't answer, but there are methods within Google AdWords to control when you want your ads displayed. So maybe, okay, for example, maybe you just want, this is a hypothetical example, but maybe you just want ads displayed on the weekend. It's something that is exclusive to being promoted on the weekend that drives business, and that's it. It's not worth spending ad spend or a budget on weekly ads. So there are ways to refine it at certain levels within Google AdWords in your campaigns.
Can you go all the way down to time? So if you know that you're working with with a specific market that's only available in afternoons or evenings, can you just set it to publish from 6 to 9 p.m.?
Yeah, there is a way to refine it within. I don't know if it's how detailed you can go, but I know you can set it. There are time restrictions, or not restrictions, sorry, time allotments that you can allocate within within a certain window, so to speak, and that really can be, Google gives you pretty good flexibility in terms of how and when you want your ads displayed.
Cool. Okay. And then finally, the last question that came in was about landing pages and really what those are and if they're different from, say, a home page and what
Yes.
you do with landing pages.
Yes, and I wish I could have dedicated more time to that today, but that's another topic in and of itself. But at a high level, landing pages are critical for Google AdWords in terms of, like I said, you want to have a landing page that is in terms of the user experience. You want to make sure that when you click on an ad, you go to that page and you find exactly what you want, what you're looking for in that query. Um, now, starting out, sometimes it's you don't always have a perfect scenario where you have landing pages that are ready to go and targeted. There's time and resources required to put into doing that. I would really consider that a second step in terms of this is based on fundamental Google AdWords campaign setup. The next step is to really make sure that those ads are connecting on the other end on your website so they can convert, and that means dedicated pages. Like in my example, it was the men's winter jackets. Making sure that when you go there, it's all about men's winter jackets, and it's all the information there that you want to learn about the name brands and the sale items and so forth. If you don't have those types of pages, sending them to the home page, if it's too general, it's just going to end up in people bouncing off your site or dropping out of your site because they're frustrated because they couldn't find what they're looking for. So I do recommend that. It is an important step, but it's not absolutely necessary for getting started with a brand new campaign in AdWords.
Okay, cool. Well, that's all the questions that we had. So, Kevin, let's splish over to the rest of the slides, and I'll jump through the rest of those very quickly. But next up, just kind of in summary and to wrap up, to remind everybody that what we do is all of this. So, if you have questions or concerns, and just click through the slides in rapid succession, I'll just talk to them. We do web design. We handle the ability to make you a website that can handle landing pages and handle advertising and integrate very seamlessly. Your hosting is what we do to help make sure that your website is well powered and well supported. And then once you're ready for all of this, really the online marketing part is what BizzyWeb is now breaking into, and Kevin really runs this online marketing group for us. And so if you need tools and tips to get your leads out or to connect with customers or build your brand or market to a specific opportunity, the Buzz Builders online marketing program is absolutely for you, and please get a hold of us on that if you have questions. As a final reminder, we do have Buzz Builders webinars, or BizzyWebinars, every week, and so I will screen share over to that for a second, and we'll just talk very briefly on what's coming. And so let's go here, and if I go to my screen, you'll see that we have a bunch of stuff coming up the rest of the week. We're actually at the Small Business, or SBDM, this Small Business Digital Marketing City Summit in Minneapolis, and we're going to be there all day. I actually have a breakout session for advanced web tactics, as well as a panelist session and some other things that we're doing as part of that. So we'd love to see you at that. And then next week we're talking pages, posts, and menus, oh my. So how to fix up and manage your posts on your website, your pages, and how to make sure that people can get to them using web analytics or using the WordPress web tools. Following that, we have creating marketable offers and promotions. Google Analytics for your business. This is a pay event that we're doing with Ben Tice of Skoll Marketing. This is going to be in-depth Google Analytics, how to do it, how to get it set up, and if you don't already have Google Analytics set up, you can get a hold of us and we'll actually help you get that set. That is a fee-based event, so be sure to check that out, but it is absolutely going to be worth your time, and I believe we're charging $125 for that event, but if you get a hold of us and if you're in there, this is equal to and probably better than events that have been marketed in the cities for upwards of $400 or more. So we know that we're bringing a pack load of value into this event, so it was one of those things that we just wanted to get out in front of folks, and it's really, really going to be worth your time. So as I go through this, I really should have changed my screen sharing, but we've got the SBDM City Summit on Friday, Next Wednesday is BizzyWebinar, pages, posts, and menus. Creating marketable offers and promotions. The Google Analytics for Business with BizzyWeb and Skoll Marketing. And then Google Analytics Reports is coming up on the 29th. So that's the rest of us. That's the rest of our month. And just absolutely delighted to have you with us. This is your last shot again to ask questions. As a reminder, in the BizzyWebinar post, we do have a link to go right to the Google Hangout. So for those of you that are viewing, if you'd like to join us and have any other questions about anything else, or if you wanted to ask specific questions or have us help you with, you can screen share over to us and we can look at your Google Analytics or your Google AdWords reports and give you helpful tips. By all means, get a hold of us right now by clicking on this Google Hangout. You'll need to be logged into Google+, but you'll be able to join us online, and we won't record that just in case, and because not everyone needs access to that. So that's our story for the week. Thank you very much again for joining us, and Kevin, thanks again for hanging out with us today. And as a reminder for everybody, we're here at BizzyWeb. We help you generate buzz without getting stung. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.